So the best diet isn't what you think it is. And this is why most diets fail and what actually works. So common advice says the best diet is the one you can stick to. And I think that this is a very simplistic way of putting it, but it is incomplete. So my experience, I've been trying to lose 100 pounds since August. I've tried multiple different diets, different fasting. I've tried keto, carnivore, Whole 30, Atkins. I tried Weight Watchers. I've tried numerous things, and they all work for a short period of time until something shifts and it doesn't work anymore. So it's a very temporary thing for me. And the problem that I've noticed is that some of them are too restrictive, so it's only protein. Some of them don't have enough variety, so I get stuck in this rut of not eating foods that I don't like, and it's the same things over and over again. And they just don't fit into my real life. We're very busy. We got two kids, they're active in sports. We need something that can keep up with us. So the real issue is I wasn't failing diets. The diets just didn't fit into my life, and I couldn't do them long term to eventually win. So what I did is I shifted my mindset in the last few months of stop focusing on what I eat and focus more on how much I eat. When I look at portions and I figure out how much to eat, I'm doing that based off of my calorie goals that I've set. My body burns about 2,900 calories a day. So if I can eat 2,500 calories a day or less, then in a week's time I should lose 100 pounds. So I've started to focus more on how much I eat. And really, what this has done for me is I control my portions, I stay in a calorie deficit, and I keep it simple. I like simple. It just fits into our life. We've talked about numerous times of going on diets, and at the end of the day, when it came down to the money it costs to do them, and that's the other problem with some of these, is I can eat enough that it doesn't make it worth it financially. But my wife doesn't have that problem. So keeping it simple for us has been a big portion of what we choose to do. I want things that I can track easily, can throw in the microwave if I need to, or reheat pretty quickly if I want to eat. I don't want to wait hours to make my food. So I think the mistakes that a lot of beginners make is they think about simple and they see simple and they're like, oh, that can't work. So then they overcomplicate things because the world is telling them, oh, you need to work out three times, three days a week. You need to lift weights. You need to run. You need to do cardio. All this stuff. You need to eat X amount of carbs and protein and fat per day. And I think that those things become important at the next step. But when you've got over 50 pounds to lose, I don't think that's the first step. So the truth to me, or the first step for me, is weight loss is simple. It's just not easy. We overcomplicate it. And when it comes down to it, it's just a game of numbers. So what I've been trying to do is eat foods that I enjoy. Repeat simple meals. When I was looking at one article, it said that bodybuilders who are typically the most fit from the standpoint of they'd have very low fat ratio, they have 80% of their meals are repeated meals. So they're simplistic meals that they can repeat over and over again. The other 20% are their like fun meals or their different meals where they get to do something different. But 80% of their meals are very similar. So then repeating those simple meals is a big portion of it. And then the biggest piece of all of this is just staying consistent. I want something that makes it easy for me to stay consistent. So eating foods that I like, eggs, steak, potatoes, carrots, I don't mind cooking up some carrots, chicken, those things are simple to me, but I like eating them. I enjoy eating those foods. So when I can eat those foods and still lose weight, it makes me feel good. So an example day for me is my breakfast changes a little bit, but not too much. Typically, I'm doing 2 to 3 eggs a day. If I had potatoes from dinner the night before, I'm cutting those up and putting those on the skillet. If I don't have potatoes, then I'll do toast. Lunch, I'm doing either a reheat of last night's meal, or I'm making something quick that I can just throw in the microwave. My kids love chicken fries. For 7 chicken fries, it's 240 calories or something like that, maybe 360, one of the two. And then I can throw it in a wrap and make like a chicken wrap for lunch. Is it a ton of calories? Yes, it typically ends up around 600 calories. But it's quick, it's easy, I know how many calories it is. And then for dinner, I have an allocation because I've used my breakfast and lunch that whatever's left I can use for dinner. So if I eat 500 calories for dinner and I want ice cream, I'm going to go find a way to get 500 calories of ice cream. That's a lot of ice cream. But I'm not trying to focus on being perfect. I'm trying to figure out what I like to eat and how to keep those foods in my diet because I enjoy eating them and I want to continue to do this consistently. And the only way that I can wrap my head around this is if I'm getting to eat the way I want. So, key lessons here that I've learned is you can eat anything on the diet that you want. Just can't eat everything that you want. So, what that means is I can eat ice cream, but I can't have a whole carton of it. I need to portion it out and make sure I only get whatever calories I have left after the night. So, if I have 300 calories left and I want ice cream, I can have 300 calories of ice cream. So, I think the starting point for somebody that is just beginning this process is don't worry about perfect food. Don't worry about being perfect on the diet. Focus first on how much you eat. And the easiest way that I can tell you to do that is check out a TDEE calculator, put in your parameters, and let it spit out what your daily burn is or what your output is energy wise. Take 500 calories off of that and start there. Try to focus on getting that every day for 7 days. If you do it for 7 days, try to shoot for 2 weeks at a time. If you can do it for 2 weeks at a time, try to do it for a month. And just keep building that win of learning how to eat within that calorie deficit. And I think a lot of it comes down to just focusing on the portions. My system is I track my food daily, I walk daily, and I stay in a deficit. And then I repeat that every day. I track my food and walking through an app, and then I get points for that. If I track my food and I stay under calories, I get a point. If I walk my 10,000 steps, I get a point. And then I have a third one, which is water, which I don't focus on as much because it's not as important at this point. But those other two, if I don't hit one, I lose a point. So I get a deduction for not hitting that. So I can have days where I have 0 and 1 point because I didn't do something. And I try to string together as many 3-point days as I can and keep that repeating because that's what builds the consistency. That's what builds the confidence that I can continue to do this and lose the weight I want to lose. So my final message is eat what you like, stay within your calories, and do it consistently. If you do those 3 things, you will win. You will win.